So good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first workshop of STEM Infographic 2022, which is we are going to talk about women in STEM, and we are going to have a conversation. So we invited our guest speaker that they are women in STEM, and they are students, leaders, and we are going to discuss. So I guess this slide is just a housekeeping, so please just take those notes and points advice. So I guess next slide, please. Before we start, I would like to consider the acknowledgement of the country. On behalf of those present, I acknowledge the traditional owner of the land on which we now meet. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. I also pay my respect to all Aboriginal people of Australia and Malaysia. If you are located in different countries, destinations, so I respect to all the Indigenous people, and I hope that their path towards the reconciliation considered to be shared and embraced. Next slide. So I guess to just start and to warm up and be ready for this, panel discussion and a story of success of one of our panel member, I would like to invite you, and because we don't know, this is the public event during the National Science Week, and I hope you all enjoy by participating to those amazing events and activities, which is still is running. And I know that Ruwangi has something to say maybe for Friday. So I guess I want to go with a quick poll. If you can tell us about, I guess we want to know what is the mindset of, how do you feel about STEM communication and the importance of the networking? So of course, this is something about your career, whether you are currently doing some, your job, it's you're doing the study, are you a student, you're thinking of the STEM career in future. So what do you think about science, STEM communication, and the importance of the networking? I guess I give you some time, and yes, we can see the, so if we are going to see the outcome here, so Paul, do you want to just share the results with us so I can see the question, but maybe after 20 seconds, we are going to reveal the outcome.
Hi, Bita. So I can share once I've closed the poll.
Sure.
Okay.
We just count down 20 seconds, which is, I think, now 10 seconds. All right, let's look at the outcome poll. So I'm glad to see we don't have any, so I think with 67% of the audience, they think that this STEM communication networking, it's important for my career, and I want all the tips and advice. Okay, I just want to get the message from the audience, why they are here and what we are doing, why we are doing what we are doing. So I guess thank you so much, Paul, for the outcome. Now I would like to go with a brief introduction and what is happening today. So again, this is the Women in STEM panel discussion. It's the first workshop of STEM infographic, which I will tell you what is this competition. So next slide, please. So of course, we are here. So for those who don't know me, so my name is Bita, and I'm leading the Shaping STEM Futures at Swinburne. So I'm the host, and our lovely Sam, who is the Swinburne PhD student in chemistry and who is actively working as a science communicator. She will be the co-host for today, and she's going to, if you have any questions that you want us to share with the panel member, please write down in the chat, and Sam is going to share with us. So I guess we are going to, the first session, it's going to be a story of success. So that is going to be about up to 8 minutes. So Ruwangi is going to tell us and share her journey until now. So and we to, you know, and I'm sure that everyone is going to be inspired. So, and then we are going to have our panel discussion. So our amazing speakers, Ruwangi and Emily, who is one, I guess I'm just introducing the names, but I'm going to invite all of the panel members to introduce themselves just to save the time. And of course, our industry partner, Belinda, she's actually presenting them. So I'm so glad to have Belinda here. Amelia, she is our amazing science communicator. In fact, she graduated from science communication, and her background is the environmental science, I believe. And then Senduni is one of our students leader who was the former president of Women in STEM Club at Swinburne. So, and at the end, after the panel discussion, we are going to be open to any questions and then Q&A for the STEM infographic competition. And then we are going to close. So for those who are interested, after I finish the talk, who are interested to participate as a competitors or the audience, so you can, if you are interested to participate as a competitor, so you just need to submit your 4-minute video of your STEM infographic by Monday, 31st of October. And we are going to send you an email with all the resources and anything that we hear from our panel member. I'm going to collect all the information and I'm going to share with you along with the evaluation. Next slide, please. So just quickly, the team who are running this STEM infographic competition, they have a vision, and we are interested to, we want to make sure that together, we are going to make the world a better place to live. Any topic, any, which is related to the sustainable development goals with that kind of aspects, it's our interest. Next slide. For example, when we are talking about circular economy, I don't know if you hear about this term. We discuss this with our STEM students, and if you're in the other fields, please, reflect on how, for example, we can think of the food waste as a waste and how we can convert it during the composting to the biofertilizer, something from the waste to the product. And then as this kind of sustainability and innovative idea, that would be great. If you are in the different field, just think what is your role, how we can make, contribute, and how as a woman or as, an individual, we, as a graduate in the STEM area, we can play a role to make the world a better place to live. Next slide. We also want with the panel discussion, which is coming shortly, so that we want to talk about what are the skills are required, for the future, the careers and the future career in the STEM area, and in general, what are the employers are looking. So some of the skills like a problem solving, self-management, working with the team. And especially because now we are shifting to use of more of the technology, how we can, be trained to be a future leaders. And of course, we want our women in STEM and our leaders who are participated in this panel discussion to share their opinion and their experience. And we would like to talk about this. Next slide. This is just a summary. I'm not going to take your time. So this is the first workshop. The next workshop is how you can create an infographic And this is about the competition. And then the third workshop is about how you are going to collect the data related to your science challenge with a sustainable impact, and how you are going to do the data visualization. And then, of course, you are going to submit your STEM idea to myself, and then you are going to just create a 4-minute video, visualize, like recording your STEM infographic that you created to introduce your science challenge and the solution, and visualize the data, of course, communicating with the broader community, and with the focus of like the topic with the sustainable impact. So that is going to be showcased, and the winner of this 4-minute video is going to receive $400. And then we have some fun activity, and that's why we want to give this opportunity to our students to actually practice and come up with idea and share their idea and practice their communication. Now I would like to invite Dr. Ruwangi Fernando to share the experience and the story of success with us before we start the panel discussion. Leave it to you, Ruwangi.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bita, for the lovely introduction, and also for the opportunity to meet some members from the Swinburne community. And then I've been in touch with some Swinburne members, but this is a broader opportunity to meet many more. So I would just start a little bit of history about myself. So I was born and raised in Sri Lanka, and then I'm here for my PhD. That's how I arrived in Australia. But before then, I did my bachelor's in IT, and then a master's in strategic IT, and then also another master's in HR. I've been a pure academic, but I had very strong links with the industry. I loved being part of the tertiary education sector in the private sector in Sri Lanka. Worked with different UK and some Australia-based organizations over there as we kind of had some partnering projects, and then certain undergraduates and postgraduate qualifications offered by those institutions. So I had my experience there, but being an academic, like a PhD, is a next progressive thing to do. So I was drawn towards doing a PhD, but also I was more looking forward for, because I had a very technical bachelor's, but after that, being an academic, it kind of faded away a little bit. So I wanted to get back in my area because it has been quite so much of new development, and machine learning and all those was not necessarily part of my bachelor's. So therefore, my PhD is where I looked at how planned special events affects congestion, so road congestion, larger events, how can we learn from data, from the historical data, and plan things better, because we all know for a footy game, or if Justin Bieber is coming to Melbourne, we cannot create new roads, but definitely we can do better planning and looking at how we react to these type of activities, we can do better. So that's where my research was focused on. So my research, I worked with the Data 61 CSRO team. That's how I was supported my scholarship, and also I did an internship with the Department of Transport. That's kind of my academic, and also I work as a sessional academic at Victoria University during my studies. But I think, this is more like a generally academic journey. I'm sure like there are many academics who have done very similar successful things during a PhD. But I think what my uniqueness comes from is my initiative on STEM sisters. So when I arrived for my PhD, I could realize very soon, I know STEM women is a global problem, only few countries have got it right, but in many countries, there is no equal representation of women. Australia is a very unique country because it's a multicultural country, and now 15% of Australians either have at least one parent being overseas, or they are born overseas. So in these kind of statistics, what I could see is the gender diversity in STEM was only looked at women, but not necessarily didn't move from women to any sort of intersectionalities. It can be women of color, it can be disability, LGBTQ. None of these factors were really looked in, apart from the gender being women. But I always say all women face a glass ceiling, but if you belong to an intersection of additional challenge, not just to being a woman, what you have is a concrete ceiling or a bamboo ceiling. So you provide tools to break a glass, the government, all these big institutions provide tools to break a glass, but we can't use the same tool to break a concrete. It's simple as that. So the tools has to be different in order to really, for these women to excel. So when I started STEM Sisters, this is my observation, and I felt this, I could see there were so many of us, but we didn't even have statistics or anything to even to know how much we are at that time. Now we have, I'll come to that quickly, but so what I did was I really felt, this topic needs a table, not just a chair in a table. So that's what I started STEM Sisters. So it's a very organically driven organization, and growth, the growth is also very organic. Now we know in 2020, that was the very first time. Now we have some statistics. So that says 56% of Australian university qualified STEM women are born overseas. But we face 4 times higher unemployment compared to women born in Australia. In an industry, they're constantly seeking talent. You see any news, there are 10,000 opportunities in STEM, 20,000 opportunities. The prediction is even bigger. In an industry where it's constantly seeking for STEM talent, these are, either they have come as international students or migrants, or somehow they have been part of Australia now, but they face significant unemployment issues. And this is also not that this has been the pattern. This was, I think in 2006, we were much in better positions. We had only a very small, percentage-wise difference. But from 2006 to 2016, we have gone completely negative in our efforts, and we face a huge unemployment because there were no targeted support. That's the reason. As I said, the tools what we provided for a glass cannot be, use the same tools to break a concrete or a bamboo. So that's where my attention is, and therefore I began STEM Sisters. And through STEM Sisters, I'll, if anyone doesn't know, I'll quickly share my screen just to kind of show you what our website look like. So this is our website, and you can also, I'll share quickly the URL. You can find more details. So under that, you'll see these are all the different types of initiatives we have. So we have quite a lot because our needs are, much more, unique and different. So we run an ambassador program. We have a mentoring program. We have a unique initiative called Dress to Impress, which is coupled with sustainability and fast fashion and women, how women see their appearance as a confidence factor. We have a LinkedIn group. Now we have over 1,000 women called Awareness of Opportunities. We run a digital magazine called Magnify. Tomorrow is our Soapbox Science event. This is, I'll speak quickly about this. This is actually an event which is happened all around the world for the last 15 years, but it's never done in Melbourne. So we partnered with them to kind of bring Soapbox Science to Melbourne. So we are having this tomorrow. So I would really welcome you all to come along if it's possible. So there are 12 fantastic scientific speakers. Most of our initiatives are targeted at women of color, but this one, we left it for women because, we signed MOU with them. I don't want just to be there is no one else can do it in Melbourne. So I don't want it to be the wrong person to kind of restrict any, just to have it for women of color. So this was included all women and non-binary individuals as well. So you can find the speakers' details. It will be a fantastic event. If you wish to come along, you can find the details on the Eventbrite. Otherwise, you can just come. It's not ticketed or it's a free event just to come along and listen to some, speakers about science. And apart from that, so we have all these initiatives I welcome you all to go through them and figure out what STEM Sisters is all about. But we had very good, response, and not so far, like we have been mostly working within the Melbourne and Victoria base. Our hope is to kind of expand it to nationally. I hope that's our mission for this year. So since I've completed my PhD, submitted my thesis since last July, I've really taken full-on STEM Sisters for the last 1 year. And also now I'm also a co-founder for another organization called iSTEMco. I'll share the link as well. Again, myself and my co-founder Molly, we both are working on, because through STEM Sisters, what we do is empowering our community, but we see a huge gap again with employers, how much employers are open up and the challenges in employment. We see issues of underemployment and unemployment within these women. So iSTEMco is a particular organization working talent acquisition, and also we do consultations, and also we try to support women with smaller projects and things. So we have a careers fair again coming up. I'll share quickly.
Ruwangi, just considering the time, we have to finish your story of success and all of this fantastic initiative. Anyway, I have questions for you, so leave some question for me. So we are coming back. So, but yeah, that would be great. So there is a careers fair. So I guess I just wanted to emphasize some for those who join. Now we are all in Australia, and we are all wants to support and help each other to feel that sweet taste of the success. And I come to some questions, because the success is not coming always, like it's not an easy journey. So sometimes our failures and our challenges are leading us to the success. So I guess if you don't mind, I appreciate your story of success and all of these initiatives and amazing initiatives. And I'll collect all of this link and I will share with the audience after the event. So now we want to officially bring the second session, where I would like to invite each one of you to introduce yourself, perhaps in 1 to 2 minutes, please. And I start with Emily. If you can please introduce yourself.
Thanks, Bita. Hi, I'm Dr. Emily Cook. Those of you at Swinburne may know me from the maths department, where I mostly now teach maths units. And this semester I'm teaching a sustainability project and science unit. I started off life as a physicist, and my PhD is actually in medical physics. So I think, like most people, my STEM career hasn't been linear. It's gone all over the place, and you never know which little bit of science you're going to use when. So I moved from medical physics, which is my PhD, where I was looking at designing X-ray systems for breast cancer detection. Because of intricacies of funding, I then worked for a little bit in security, because the physics of detecting a tumor in the body is the same as detecting explosives in parcels and suitcases. So I've worked in designing security systems there. Also worked in STEM outreach, and as I said, not a linear career, but a little bit of things here and there. But my main project at the moment is developing Lego stop motion animations to teach maths and to try and engage more people with maths in a fun and friendly way. So hopefully that was less.
Thank you so much, Emily. I know that that fantastic idea and initiative in education, it's very inspiring. Thank you so much, Belinda. Now I would like to invite you to introduce yourself.
Sure, Emily, I love that. I've got twin girls and we have so much Lego in this house, so that sounds so cool. Belinda Nation. So I studied mechanical engineering quite a while ago, that I don't want to admit, and I was one of 4 females when I studied mech eng. So I know how tough it is, but I loved science, I loved maths, I loved physics, and so did that. I spent probably quite some time in consulting and finance. Well, I did, doing a lot of coding and learning strategy. I did an MBA in parallel to working, just to build out that commercial aspect of my technical knowledge. But for the past 10 years, I've really moved into architecture and technology again, and I love it. I am an architecture geek. So my role, I've just moved in the last year to IAG, so Insurance Australia Group, which is the largest insurance company in Australia and New Zealand. A lot of the brands that you would get insurance through, you wouldn't realise that we underwrite, like Coles or RACV or NRMA. And so my role is the exec manager of product and architecture. So I have the product people that are meant to understand the experience and translate that into product features and roadmaps and how we can aspire to get the best customer experience based on research. And then the architects to actually take us from a current state to a strategic state architecture. And that's across domains like digital experience, so creating a full microservices architecture and decoupling all the legacy. CEP, which is your CRM or your colleague experience, and making sure we've got headless APIs and how we can do that and migrate that across brands. MarTech and personalization, so that's really cool, like the data aspect that people have mentioned and how we can proactively nudge or excite or proactively give offers. And then contact center as well, because we don't want people to have to go to call centers, but how do we get action APIs and things like that? So I lead a large team there of architects and did the same at NAB for consumer banking and multiple other areas. And that's me.
Thank you so much, Belinda. It was a pleasure to work with the IAG for the last 4 years and working with the industry to actually lead this kind of competition where we invite the industry partner to be in our judging panel and provide those feedbacks to the students and see this kind of interaction between the what we are doing at university and what you're doing in industry, and link and provide the bridge for our students to grow. And I always send this message to my students that you're going to be in a better position than us. So that's the aim. So I guess now I would like to invite Amelia to introduce herself.
Hey everyone, I'm Amelia. Nice to, well, I can't see most of you, but you're there, so that's really exciting. Like Bita said a little bit earlier, I finished my master's in science communication up in Canberra last year, which was pretty phenomenal. We traveled all over Australia making stuff explode and getting covered in slime and kind of all the things that make life pretty fun. So that was really special, and I certainly have a pretty big passion for science education and making that something more accessible and more exciting for students in primary and high school. But currently I'm working at the Monash Climate Change Communication Research Hub, which is firstly a bit of a mouthful, but secondly does some really cool work around trying to bridge the gap between people's kind of understanding of science currently and the new and exciting science that's coming out from our climate scientists and people in the energy space as well. So I work across a bunch of projects there with the media, because turns out we get most of our information from there, and they're a really good way to make sure that people are getting and accessing the right kinds of information around climate and climate change. That's me.
Thank you, Amelia. Thank you so much. And I would like now to invite Sanduni to introduce herself.
Thank you, Bita. Nice to meet you all. I'm Sanduni. I am currently studying engineering, and I'm doing my mechatronics and robotics major. I came from an all-girls school background for my entire high school and primary school, so coming into engineering was a shock and a half with the male-dominated environment, and I just felt so isolated in my first year. I just felt so horrible, and it just felt so unfair that everyone seemed to have to go through something like that. And I joined the Women in STEM Club, and I was so invested by the next year I was president, and I put all of my energy into it, probably more energy than into my studies. And we grew from a club of 15 to 250 within a year. And it's still going. I've left now and passed it on to Beth. And from there, I joined a feminist magazine, which I wrote for for a while, and I started a social enterprise called Manasa, where we focus on starting conversations about topics that affect minorities, communities, and sort of uncovering what does authentic support look like for people. But other than that, I did my industry placement at Australia Defence, and I'm now part-time there as a technical advisor. Essentially, what I do as technical advisor, I'm working in general stores. We advise on equipment like tents, catering equipment, basically anything that doesn't fit in all the other interesting categories. So my days are full of variety. Sometimes I'm assessing huge tents and fridges, and other days I'm assessing forks and trying to include eco-friendly forks and plates into soldiers' backpacks. But that's me. Thank you, Bita.
Thank you, Sanjini. Thank you all of these amazing, panel members. So now I would like to start, and Sam, if you have any questions, so I'm going to start the question, but please, Sam, if you have any question from the chat, I'm going to ask you, so then we can share this kind of question. So I guess I want to start with something about your identity. So I guess I want to know, and the audiences are here, so let's say the majority of them are in the early career, like they're actually working as students. That's still a job for them to perform well. So I guess I just want you I see that you're coming from industry, education, you're acting as a science communicator, you are the founder of your business, but you all graduate from the somehow a STEM area. So I guess I want you to tell us, that audience, what do you think about your identity and some unique characteristics about you that enable to continue with the progress of what you achieved today. Of course, Ruwangi talk about women in STEM and women in colors and what are the challenges. So I think you all had some experience. So I guess you can be volunteer to start and then tell us about your characteristics and something that it can help you to go through these challenges and come with the position that you are now. So maybe with a few seconds we can have the first volunteer.
I'm happy to kickstart.
Perfect.
Let's see. I think probably I am a high achiever. So in terms of characteristics, I'm very high on the achievement focus, but not competitive. So I love to run marathons, but I race against myself. And I do that because I like to set goals and have a plan, and I love the psychology about it. But what balances that with my team and what I drive is the high empathy. So I guess as you become more and more curious, and never lose that, because that's what I look for in my recruitment, like the curious people that, but why, and keep trying to understand and set goals. You got to understand how people work. It's the real key, and I think that's what's helped me through my career. And you have tough conversations mate, I'm still having tough conversations even today. But it's like, okay, where are they coming from and why are they feeling that way and what's motivating them? So balancing empathy with achievement is probably one of my superpowers, I guess, that got me where I am today.
Thank you, Belinda. So if we have some more comments on this question, Ruwangi?
Yeah, thank you, Belinda. I love that. And I love when women say, like, you like to kind of, compete but with yourself. Sometimes we don't want to put it across saying, oh, you are very competitive or you're a high achiever. You don't want to give the credit. I love that point about you. I have some similar qualities too, but for me, I think the number one is resilience. Being a woman of color and being challenges, I think I have endured that so much. So what I've kind of learned is not to either, like, resilience in good and bad both. I just move away, like, if I fail in something, I say, oh no, it's I'll try again. I have tried same thing multiple times. I like, sometimes if I'm eligible, I put my application for the third time. I got my scholarship when I applied for the second time. Likewise, I've never give up in myself, but I don't feel bad when oh, this should deserve, I should deserve this. Why didn't I get it? I don't get into that mode, but I say, okay, this is not my time. My time will come, and I just would move on and try myself. Even for successes, I think I just, move away from that also pretty soon. So I have resilience in both the aspects. So it's just, I feel like, oh, sometimes something's meant to me quite a lot at the beginning, but then I achieve, I feel like, oh, it's just, just another thing.
And
then, yeah.
Ruwangi, considering you are now a founder of this STEM Sisters, and you want to bring that sisterhood and share your, unique characteristics to others, because not all of us having that kind of natural character. So do we have any training for that kind of, capability to how we practice and we improve our skills? Is that something that you're offering?
Yeah, one thing I would say is I think I'm not a good reader, but I love watching motivational speakers, brilliant men, women who have been in the past. And one thing I've learned very soon in my life with the challenges, sometimes I think the struggles coming to you early is better because you learn and grow much sooner and faster. So what I kind of learn is we are all here for a very short time, so accumulation of anything is just, we are going to all leave it. So sharing and caring and spreading it is the joy in things. So that's why STEM Sisters, and I want to the LinkedIn group we have, it was a pure idea. When I see opportunities, I cannot necessarily remember X and Y person to send an email or put a message. So I created this group so I can share to everyone. Some of those opportunities that I've shared in the group, I think now there are a lot of contributors in the group. But when at the beginning, it was mostly me. I apply for them too, because I think, the person who deserves it will get it, So I kind of had that mindset. I think it's something that we all need to kind of, put ourselves, of course, like what Linda said, we need to be competitive, but we need to be competitive within ourselves to improve ourselves better, not necessarily with the world and with the sisters of ours and things like that. So the world will look much nicer and prettier and a lovely place to be in for everyone. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Emily, what is your characteristics that make you this great initiative? How we can come up with these initiatives for our teaching or, inspiring our students to join in STEM?
I think like Belinda and Ruwangi, I'm personally competitive. I'm quite driven to compete with myself. I wish I had some of Ruwangi's resilience. And I do think STEM is one of those fields where you're either constantly solving problems, which I enjoy, or constantly applying for funding or submitting papers. And you do have to learn to deal with that rejection. So it's an interesting field from that perspective. I think my kind of superpower, if you want to put it like that, is really trying to find the fun in things. I think I really enjoy science, but I think I see it from a slightly different perspective. I look at maths and go, how can I teach this with Lego? Or that kind of creativity of seeing the world from a different perspective and kind of sharing my enthusiasm for the things that I just find really fascinating and so important as well. It's maths and science are so relevant in our lives, and I think they often get bad press of saying, well, when am I ever going to use this? Is kind of one of the things that students say all the time. But the answer is everywhere, or you don't know, and these things can pop up everywhere. So I think my strength is in trying to find the connections and make things relevant and also fun, so you enjoy the journey of learning them as you go.
Yeah, I think that's the very key point, like having fun and enjoy, because once you start enjoying of what you're doing, you don't want to stop. And that's a very strong message to our students. So I guess I just want to close this discussion. I think this was just the identity, how you how do you think that your characteristics helps you to be a successful woman in STEM, and that could be a message for our audience. So Amelia, Sanjini, do you want to add anything, or we can move to the next question?
to move to the next question. I think everyone's covered that really nicely. Yeah.
Thank you. Sam, just before I go to the next question, do we have any question in the chat? Okay. I just want to know, we talk about the story of success, and I've mentioned like, sometimes I'm reflecting about all of the things that as an individual you experience to come to this point, but everything that is going to be in a social media or, you know, and, you know, the different platform, it's just a success. It's just that, you know, that moment. But I guess we really need to share that journey and that challenges for the audience, for the students, that they can, you know, they can accept if something happened, if some failures happen along the way, you just go ahead. And that kind of like a, the way that you pass this failure, it might lead you to success. So I guess I just want to see if from the panel member, you would like to share some of the very hardship moments that you overcome in order to become to be as successful as a woman in STEM, as a women leaders in that position that you are now. And yeah, if you want to share if there was some mistakes or some points or advice for the audience to consider. So Belinda, you want to start?
I've always been told that success never comes from being comfortable. And I use that a lot. I use that with my team, with my interns and graduates. It's that butterfly, horrible feeling that you get in your stomach when you go, oh man, do I want to lean into this? That when you do, the satisfaction of, you know, and you might not make it or might not, but it's actually giving it that go. I guess that's your feeling of discomfort. It is your gut feel that you'll go, oh, this is a big problem. You can walk away, you can lean into it. And it's the leaning into it, and I guess being able to not forgive yourself, but be able to support yourself to go, you know what, if I get this right, it's going to be all right. If I don't, I've given it a go, I've given it a crack, and that's good. And giving yourself credit for actually giving it a go. But that feeling of when you've got that discomfort and that butterflies, that's the one that you need to keep doing, and you do become more resilient with it. You do. So tripping up, leaning into those curly problems or the political, the political challenges that can happen with your job and challenges, and then you get through it and you're like, I did that. And that's what will progress you. Knowing you can lean into those curly questions, manage the politics and problems, and find a way through.
I'm going next.
Really?
Okay. I would say one of the things is learning, and I guess at school you're kind of taught, don't cheat, do everything yourself, don't use others. But it's that idea of actually, as you get out into your professional life and working in STEM, is so collaborative. And I think one of the mistakes I made earlier was trying to do everything myself, or not reaching out, asking for help, using networks, talking to experts. And as I've gone further along my career, I more and more use the experience and the knowledge and the wisdom and the support of other people to help get the best outcomes. So I say that's one of the lessons that I've learned. I think those of you just starting out, reach out, network, ask people, talk to people. You never know when there's someone that can help you and when you can help them as well.
That is so true, Emma. And it happens in industry. I am having questions with my exec GMs. I'll be, let's chat with NAB about this, or let's chat with like a Capital One in the US. Let's chat with someone else who's faced these problems and solve it. You're not competitors. We're all facing the same problems. And there is still a resilience, like there does be this resistance rather to do that. But no. Let's not recreate. Let's actually leverage. I love that, Emily. That's so true.
And it's not failure if you don't know something and someone else does. That's just, we're all experts in our own thing, and the more we connect, the better the outcomes will be. And it's not a failure to reach out for help. That's a good thing, and you should be doing it.
And I think that's the very important vision when we are talking about we want to make the world a better place to live. And I think that should be equally available and accessible to everyone. So, and that joy, I think it's encouraged everyone. So now today we are talking about women in STEM, and we know that there are some challenges. We know that there are a lot of progress, all of these initiatives, the funder of the businesses, like someone like Ruwangi, experienced this and they found the gap, and now we are trying to stay together and stay stronger. So I think that is the point. So thank you so much for actually sharing your experiences. If you don't have any more tips and on the failures, on that kind of the lessons that you learned from your failure, I can move on to the next question. Let's move. All right, now so it was more about setting our mindset about our identity and something around women in STEM. So now let's move on a bit to the technology. So I think now talking about the technology, we want to know what does the changing role of the technology means for women in STEM. So how, as a women in STEM, and how, considering the nature of the workplaces, even though now it's progress, still how we can update ourselves and upskills our and feel confident to go and join where we think that we belong to. And yeah, how we can, what is your point about the technology and what is the role for our women in STEM?
I like to jump on this one
Mm-hmm.
because I'm really wanted to, bring this discussion for women in STEM or women of color in STEM, rather than, oh, this is like a humanitarian issue, or like, we need to support women from that angle to really sell the proper problem here. The proper problem is women is 50% of the population, and you not incorporating them to the technology. Why we develop technology is for our community. And, there are so many examples, starting from the seat belt to so many, which were never used women in terms of, considered their bodies in making those seat belts. Like, later when they figured out they didn't use women in their, driving seat, no women are driving, kind of, So there are so many levels in the past, even now, we disqualify women as part of the society, and we are inventing solutions for the society. So the society, it's not just women, like we need to make sure we are inclusive of everyone in the society when everything's are made, where the decisions are made, the technologies are invented, the new tools are developed, like all discussions, everyone needs to be reflected. So now what is clear is, like, if you have different walks of lives, people who are coming from different walks of life, if you include them in your organization, especially STEM organizations, because they need to be innovative all the time, you can increase your profits by 35%. So this is what the findings are. So STEM organization, having women is not just a good thing to do, it's where the profit is. So that's what we need to really portray to the society. Look here, you're not including women, you're not including culturally diverse people in organizations, you are just losing money from your organizations. So when we say that point, that's where the employers and organizations and governments and everyone want to, really look into this problem more from a humanitarian aspect to real problem of innovative. So diversity is one of the key elements which can bring innovation. So I just wanted to share that point.
The great point, diversity and more initiative in the workplaces. So Belinda, I know that you're leading the the team in the industry. So how technology and how women in STEM actually playing a role in your organization?
Yeah. Look, I think building on what Ruwangi said, if the culture and gender diversity brings that different thinking. It just does. I had 70% of my architects at NAB, so we're running consumer banking, we're spending hundreds of millions of dollars a year, at 70% female, so it's unheard of, never had. It was just different thinking. You could see it. You could see the innovation. and the mindset and the inclusion, and just, it was a different culture that was created, I think, and it was an addictive culture that people wanted to be a part of. So I think we have this superpower, and maybe it is the empathy side of it or what have you, but now's the time to be a woman in STEM. I tell you, if you're curious, you love learning, you love technology, and you can balance that empathy, don't lose that. Don't anyone ever tell you don't be emotional, all that. I think that's yesteryear. That really isn't the discussion from yesterday, because that's what brings you closer to the customer and the colleague experience when you're working on things, and creates that culture that is inviting and brings people together to solve problems. So I think that that unique quality is the balance of, we just naturally are a bit more susceptible to understanding emotions and feelings and inclusion. So buddy that with your tech skills and curiosity, it's an absolute limit superpower. Yeah, so industry, we are certainly looking at, like, we've got targets. There's a 50% leadership target of females in the corporation. And back on what Ruwangi was saying, Salesforce, the greatest place to work, like 10 years in a row or something, their equality for female diversity, but also their financial performance is completely above board, above the average. I was chatting with the chief people officer of Guidewire, who's in a large insurance platform in the US and UK last week. She was saying to me, I need to recruit cultural diversity relevant to where we're delivering our clients' propositions. I need gender diversity for that innovation. Like, they're really acknowledging that. I can't have someone who doesn't understand my customer doing that. Back to the seatbelt analogy. And these large corporations are recognizing this. So it's not just let's get some females on to balance up. It's they want the innovative thinking, and they want that diversity in there to generate that. So certainly in financial institutions that I can speak of, it's a huge focus at the moment for thinking, not for a scorecard.
And I want Sanjini, do you think that university provide this kind of, how do you feel as a student leader, study at university?
I think at university, however much effort that in terms of like content and lecturers, but I think like my favorite subjects have always been where I see like someone who looks like me who's teaching and is as passionate about the subject. I think that it's very difficult to change a university culture, and I think there's a lot of ways that Swinburne is still needing to grow as to why there are still like first year students who are feeling so isolated in their degree. But just building on about the importance of having diverse teams, the Defence has only just started putting together female helmets that are suited towards females, and also body armor suited towards a female body. And the team has, I wasn't on the team, but my friend, she was on the team, and the manager was female, and it was very much like we needed all sides, all diverse opinions on this. And of course you can't have a male dominant team trying to design body armor and helmets. But I guess it also goes to show, I was like shocked that female soldiers right now are still using male equipment, and equipment that has been tested for male bodies, and they are not using helmets that take into account like a headband or something like that. So it just shows how much growth there needs to be, and the importance of representation when it comes to developing, innovating technology. Yeah.
And as much as we experience, and that's the message. So I think because as a science graduate, we always focus on something, but we forget to communicate what is required. And I think that for all of this industry and policy and everything that is in we need a better communication. We need a better understanding of and diversity. And look, I think even the age, like in university, in industry, I can see the progress of how they are going to contribute. And I don't want to consider just the woman in STEM. We are not just talking about women. We are talking about everyone. We just want the, again, with a vision to make the world a better place to live. We want everyone to equally consider. That's all I think it matters. Yeah, we just want to showcase those kind of the gaps that especially women, they actually experience either in the university or whether in when they apply for a job. But I'm sure that the all of the, what you're offering and what you're sharing, it's showing the progress, which is fantastic. Amelia, do you have anything that, showing that how we go and do the science, like through your activities with the kids and the high school, how they can come up with an idea and mindset to join, in a STEM area and become the leader? That kind of attitude?
Sure. Well, I guess just listening to the discussions over the past few minutes has brought up the fact that all of us, whether you finish uni or you're still at uni, are in a really unique position to kind of influence the next generation of people that are coming through, whether they're 3 or 13. They're in a stage where they can be influenced, and everyone that kind of is part of their life can shape them in some way. And I think I saw that particularly through my interactions with students over the past couple of years, where it can be a single experience that can then kind of shape the fact that the child might want to, become the scientist in the lab, or maybe they want to go and make robots, or maybe they want to build trucks, or whatever the case may be. And so I think not only looking at kind of our own trajectory as women in the STEM field, but also the people that are kind of following us is really important, because we're kind of helping to shape our own futures by being inclusive in that space.
Thank you for that summary points, Amelia. I guess now talking about all of this, the technology and the role of the women in STEM and how that could be considered in the different organizations and hopefully the progress of all of this. So what do you think that the ideal future look like? So what do you think to, as a woman in STEM, what do you think that you would like to see, or it's going to happen, regardless if you like or we don't like it? So what do you think that the future of the women in STEM look like?
I mean, I feel like an ideal future would be that we don't have to have these discussions. Like there isn't a question of whether the world and the workplace is inclusive or not. It just is, and that's really the ideal outcome, and that's where we want to get to. But as everyone sort of pointed out today, there's a long way to go between sort of now and that point. And so I think, something like gender balance, which Belinda brought up, is really important in the workplace, and trying to kind of create that parity, whether that's at school or in the workplace as well. Yeah.
And I think, there's a discrepancy between the ideal future and I think where we're still on track heading, is that just the portrayal of science and things in the media and in popular culture is still very either male dominated, or I saw someone posted something recently that said all men look like mad scientists and women look like supermodels whenever you're portrayed as a scientist in TV. And they're just it's not enough really visible, as Sandini said, people that like you look at and go, oh yeah, I could be that person. I see myself as that. So I think we've got a long way to go of beyond what we can do in our field of just broad portrayal of women in STEM, and looking at kind of data girls in school. So I'm in the office and the lights turn off if I don't do anything every so often. Get up and turn them on in a minute. I'm in the middle of a rant, so I'll continue. Yeah, numbers of girls opting to take higher level maths subjects at school are still dropping. Then, like, despite all the things we're trying to do to be role models, to introduce kind of programs in schools to get these things going, there's still more girls taking some maths, but fewer are still taking the higher level maths that leads to the kind of really tech driven careers. So if they're not taking it, they're not going to come to university, and that pipeline, we really need to do things out. So, like, great job to people like Amelia who are getting out there and trying to increase that pipeline, but there's still something in the system somewhere that is not working in our favor. Sorry to be negative. I'll be back in a second. I'm just going to turn the lights back on.
Sure, Emily. So, Ruwangi, what is the ideal? I think I really like that first comment that Amelia mentioned. So we don't have this kind of women in STEM panel discussion, and we can talk about the humans, panel discussion. So yeah, Ruwangi, what is your ideal world? How we can support each other?
Of course, I think this is, there's like masculine skills are not that important in this world. So it's women, of course, who can run the world. So in such a situation, I really see, like, intellectual skills, what women are very good with, and we should be able to aiming this solving, if you really invest in it. That's what I think. This is not a problem to be really, cannot be solved. But I think the pipeline that Emily spoke, it's very important that you generate that interest at the early career, but also whoever come through, there is big loops in the pipeline once they have studied, once they have completed their degree, and it comes to the kind of leadership of STEM, there is a huge, pipeline issues. So, because women go through, personal commitments and many other challenges of personal life, so which is not providing sufficient support for women to really maybe sometimes come back from career gaps, or really take time off for, to do what they feel like they wanted to commit to in their personal life. So these are also bigger challenges where we really need to push those boundaries and really make those changes happen in our society, so that women will feel, not being challenged. So if there are certain aspects of challenges, if we can support removing the biasness, I think a lot of women, like, even I call STEM sisters as that particular name, because what I wanted is a sisterhood. As I said, women are intellectually very strong. If we get together, I don't think there is no challenge that we cannot, really accomplish. So if we work together, right, supporting each other, like, rather than seeing as a competition, but, really seeing, supporting each other, we can really make it happen. It's just that if we really get together, we can. That's all there. I always, that's my kind of way of thinking. So that's what I want women to really support. Even if it's a subordinate, even it's your boss, think from a woman's point of view. We have a lot of biasness within ourselves as women, judging other women. So if you really need to check our consciousness and see whether, how that will, these are research shown, women, a lot of women, sometimes when we really recruit a person, we would say, oh, no, that compared to that woman, a man would do that job. These are, the biases we can, remove ourselves by questioning ourselves. So if we really go there, I think we really can make this change happen.
All right. Thank you so much. Belinda, did I ask you this question, or I don't remember if you want to add any comment on what is your ideal future look like?
Probably reflecting on the New South Wales school curriculum hadn't been reviewed in 3 decades until recently. That kind of thing should not happen in 2022. I also have a niece who's in year 12 now, but in year 11 loved the computer science. She dropped out after a term because there was only one girl in that class, and that was her. that should not be happening in 2022. And so, you know, what the future would look like is, you know, for my girls, I'm looking at a place in Melbourne that will foster science technology, because I've got twin girls, so that they can be playing with science and playing with tools and having that. But I have to search for a school like that. So what people, I guess, in my level, I'd like to see us playing a more active role in trying to influence that pipeline and change the culture and lean into those organizational changes and into the academic world, so that in the future it's normal. And yeah, if we want to go and bloom and blow something up in a science lab, you know, half the group of females doing that, and we can just do it, and that's just normal. That's what I would love, because that stuff's fun, and it's just not the norm still, which is just crazy.
Do you think that, Belinda, I guess, do you have any in your organization, do you have any kind of a support? Because we are talking about this pipeline, it's just bring me, okay, we are talking about the kids, high school, then university. We need to do something in, you know, at university for everyone equally to feel comfortable to go for that job interview, to go with the leadership roles. It shouldn't be just, you know, the managements, like executive management managers. So those kind of positions, if they are thinking that they are interested. So do you think that industry is also providing the services, like an experience for, you know, the students? Do you have any kind of practices that the students can work with you? Do you have any vision to support the women in STEM?
Yeah, there is. So probably twofold there. I found I was actively involved with Women in Technology at NAB and at IAG, and both of them are involved in primary schools. So primary schools in providing even academic material on science, but also access to holiday programs and such. But you can't do it blanket, right? And it shouldn't just be these big organisations that are doing it, but they were involved in that. Also, we would work with certain schools at NAB, and we're doing it at IAG with high schools. So getting high school students in so they can spend like a day or two in certain tech areas to just see what it looks like. Because that's what, when I was at uni, every summer I would do internships so that I could see what mechanical engineering was, and just, you know, pretty much make coffee for engineers and stuff, just so I could see it and get experience, because I hadn't been exposed to it. And so we do that with high school students for certain schools and trying to bring that in. And then for the university students, there are intern programs that are available. I think it does need to go broader, especially because we need to be filling that pipeline more and more and more. Architecture is a really hard one. I don't think you need 20 years experience to be an architect, but it's a real mindset I'm trying to shift at the moment. But I've got and a business analyst actually who loves Adobe marketing, and I met with her yesterday and she said, I really want to go into architecture. This is my background. She's never done it before, but she started as a technologist, moved into the business doing marketing, and they're right, let's do a 6 months secondment. So we're just sort of making it happen. But you need, I guess, more, you know, I'm empowered to do that. We need to do that. So I am seeing big organizations doing it, but it's not, and I don't see it in government yet. But I'd love to be proven wrong there.
I guess considering the time, maybe this can be the last question, at least from me, but I will check with Sam. So now talking about the STEM careers and the future leaders and women in STEM, I've just written all of these keywords. So I have students, empowering the students, women in STEM, education, industry, startup idea, future leaders, schools of the future job, equity, diversity, inclusion, communication. So I guess I just want to, if you want to have if you think that if you're aware of their opportunity, or if you think that there are some skills for the future job that are women in STEM, or everyone needs to consider during their study, during the internship, during the training that Ruwangi just introduced, there are a lot of practices, training are around how we are going to, if you want to give an advice to the audience, how they can improve their skills to be ready for the future of these jobs, because some of the jobs that we have today, they might not exist. And yet the employers are looking at, one of my slides, it was about the skills that they are looking, and that is going to be updated every year. So I guess there should be a link between education and industry and all of the initiatives that can support the community. So what is your advice for this? What students can do to come up with a better experience?
My advice would just be say yes to as many things as you can, because you genuinely don't know what little weird thing you do to the side thinking it means nothing actually becomes crucial in the future, is the reason you get a job, or the reason you meet someone that connects you to someone that gets you the job of your dreams. So just do as many things as you can, say yes to everything, join clubs, join societies, STEM related, unstem related. Be as broad a person as you can, and that will prepare you for a future that we don't really know what it's going to be. So the wider you spread yourself, the more nets you've cast, the more things you're likely to pull back in. So that would be my advice. You don't know. There's some odd little things I thought, oh, I don't know why I'm doing this. This is just a weird side project that has then somehow become
completely great.
Crucial.
My first job I got at a careers expo of my boyfriend's at a different university, and I ended up in computer science. The second one I got on a plane by chatting with the person next to me. So just talk to people, and you're amazed at how many networks, people who know people, and you just be curious and open. Yeah, actually, a few of my jobs are like that now. It's just from talking, and yeah, do that. Otherwise, cybersecurity, cloud, and data and analytics, sorry, like gold, absolutely gold. If you're wondering what subjects to focus on, that's where I'll be going for the next 10 years.
Well, I can't echo what Emily said, saying yes to as much as you can. I think that's you don't need to find exactly how the connectivity of things, because Steve Jobs said you can only look, backwards and see how the dots are connected, So then you can see, oh, that's why this happened. Oh, that's why this happened. So that's like, I think every one of our journeys, we look back, the things that we said years have connected in so many ways for who we are now. So dots will get connected, say yes, and enjoy the journey. I think, that's very important as well, because as I said, the shorter time that we have. So, be kind and be wonderful, and then share your gift with others. And in terms of network, there are so much of lovely people, like, I've started STEM Sisters, how much of support that I've got, during my time. Of course, we like, not financially, but, I like, with no much financials where we are here now, it's simply because of the support and dedications of a very big community. So there have been no one who have said no in terms of any support that I have reached out for. So it's just to reach out, and I'm just a complete unknown person to Australia, when I arrived in 2017. So my tool was LinkedIn. So, I know there are different social media platforms. Twitter is also equally good, and a lot of academics do use that. I'm not that strong there, but my tool was LinkedIn. I could say, like, I got my scholarship through finding supervisors through LinkedIn. I got my internships by talking to people through LinkedIn. So LinkedIn has been my go-to place for, being like an international student. So there are, like, meet people, talk to people. People would love to hear what you have to say. And similarly, people may reach out to you, support them as well. It's a collective journey that we are going to go ahead.
Thank you, Ruwangi. Sanjini or Emilia, you go first. I see your microphone.
Something that I think has helped me kind of navigate the space of not being quite sure like what the next move is or what skills to learn, is just having someone that you can chat to about it, whether that's like a friend or a dedicated mentor or someone a couple of years ahead of you or something like that. I think those conversations can be really, really valuable, and having regular check-ins about, you know, like, how am I feeling about where I'm at? What skills do I want to learn? If I want to go into this field that looks really interesting, like, how do I get there? What are kind of the stepping stones? I think being able to have someone to talk to about those things can be really, really helpful as someone who's early on in their career, who's not even in their career, or even later in life as well. Yeah.
Thank you, Amelia. Sanduni?
I think that just in general, sort of having a growth mindset and really enjoying learning can really just change how you perceive like criticisms and how to improve and things like that. I definitely feel like at the beginning of my, like when I started placement and I really wanted to be perfect, and which doesn't even exist, there's no perfect person. And every time I got criticisms, I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm so terrible, I'm probably gonna get fired. But just having a mindset that like everything is a learning experience and there's always something that you can learn and some way that you can grow from the opportunities around you. And sort of just valuing yourself, knowing that no, like I can learn from this. This isn't the end of my career at midway through my degree. But yeah, that's what I would focus on.
Thank you, Sanduni. I guess I'm going to collect all of those tips and suggestions, the links, you know, for especially Ruwangi, you sent that information, but I'm going to collect all of this information. Again, this is the National Science Week. I guess our awareness of something happening around us is also important. Like we are responsible, we are playing a role. If we are expecting something happen, we should start from ourselves, how much we are playing, you know, how much we are contributing. So I guess if you want something happen for women in STEM or general for you want to make the world a better place to live, you need to just, okay, be aware, collect the data, information, but just act. Okay, and just be kind with yourself, be kind with everyone. See how much time. I'm like today, I'm inviting this guest speaker. I know that they are having a very busy schedule, but they just, you know, kindly accepted to spend this much time and sharing their experience with you. We love what we are doing, the fun parts. I think this is fun. So I guess it's just very important. If we are expecting something to happen, we should play a role, we should act. So I think that is the, I think that is my message for what I hear here. So, and of course, consider these opportunities that is just for you to practice and to improve. So there is no perfect, I think everyone wants to be perfect, but we can just be close to what we are imagining. And I guess that brings us to the end of this panel discussion, unless there is a very hot, you know, tips that you want to share with the audience. I think that could be the end of the this conversation. We just wanted to share like some of the experiences that our panel members they had. So as a student, as an an educator, as a founder of the business, so either in a manager in a industry. So you can see all of this diversity, and we did experience, we just wanted to make sure that if your audience, you are the students in a STEM area, so you're welcome to choose of this, use of these opportunities and be ready for what you can, explore and find it enjoyable. So is there any comments from the panel member? Otherwise, I can consider this is the end of the panel discussion. And I'm here if there is any question from the audience for the STEM infographic, but I think Ruwangi is ready to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to invite for the upcoming activities from STEM Sisters and iSTEMco. So I've shared the links. One event is happening tomorrow, so Box Science at the State Library, Victoria. It's a free event. You can come from 2 to 5 o'clock. Careers Fair is on the 31st of August. So yeah, just wanted to share the videos.
Ruwangi, definitely I'm going to collect those information from you to share, because the audience is larger audience, and the recording is going to be shared with them through the email. I definitely share your links. So thank you so much, and book me for the next year, please.
Yeah, you had a little bit of an issue setting that schedule. Yeah.
Yes, I'm missing the tomorrow one, but I will be there for next year. Thank you so much, everyone. Sam, do we have any question from the, No? Okay, good. So if you don't have any question, that is the end of the meeting. We are going to collect all of the information with this recording and evaluation. So if you want us to share some questions that you would think that it would be interesting, please share with us, and we are going to answer those questions and address. Stay together. Be kind with yourself, and enjoy what you're doing. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh, I didn't get a screenshot. Can I?
Oh.
With a smile. Sorry, I always take one shot. So 3, 2, 1. Got it. Thank you. Bye.